It's Kelton.
Miguel Perez.
And we're here today for this third part of dating.
Yes.
Part 3. See, this has a lot of things, in my opinion, that, we need to talk about. Because, there's so much in this world of dating. There's so many things to talk about. There's so much variety of so many situations that I would love to talk about.
And dating is seen as such a negative thing today. 1,000 times over I hear dating is so hard. Dating is so hard. Dating is so hard. Because it is. It is hard. But it is difficult.
The thing is like, it's not going to be easy. Any relationship you get in, you have to have some sort of hardness to it, because you're not going to grow from just being in the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And everybody's so focused on the grass is always greener on the other side.
No.
Personally, I don't understand that.
No, I don't. And you know what? I think, and a lot of things about dating is people don't educate themselves. You got to study dating just like you study anything else. You know what I'm saying? If I want to become good at something, I got to read about it. I got to ask questions. I got to investigate. I have to research. Dating is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There's just some things you just don't do when it comes to dating. And there's some things I encourage people to do when it comes to dating because they will help. And that's one of the reasons we're going to go into part 3 of dating. So, Kelton, I'm going to let you lead this one. Go for it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. So I've got a few things that I wanted to talk about and discuss that I think that you might have a great hindsight on, but you might not even know about.
Okay.
So I have a few things that has bothered me in a lot of relationships, and has also been something that has turned me off from relationships, like automatically. And the biggest thing is whenever women, girls, any whatever you want to call them, I try to be the nicest way I can put it, but women, they tend to think that looks matter more than anything in the relationship, and that bothers the crap out of me. It really does, because there are some people in this world that, yes, they're gonna get away with good looks, and women as a whole, that's what a lot of their, what they would consider status is based upon, is their looks. That's how a lot of women get their way with things. They get further with looks, because you get guys like me, I can't go party on a yacht. I can't do it. But I can go buy a boat, but I got to put all this money in, all this effort in. It's going to take me a while to get there. But when a female looks good and attracts just the right person that has that money, they're automatically involved.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make friends with these people. They just look good and get away with it. And that's what I think, that's where I see that a lot of the society has chosen to believe certain things. And this is one of those things that just, it turns me off automatically. If a girl says, well, I'm too beautiful for this, or I'm too cute to be doing that, it throws me off. Because I'm like, okay, first of all, no, I don't think that you're too cute or too pretty to do something. That's kind of undermining your own self well-being, for one, because you should think of yourself way more than that. You should think that you're more capable than just be putting on something small. You shouldn't be thinking, oh, well, I'm just too pretty to do this. And I have met a lot of women that think that way, and it bothers the crap out of me. It really does.
I've met a lot of women like that, and I think they hurt themselves, because in the long run, any man that has any man's man, that has a lot to offer, they're not going to be into that, and they're going to pass it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a very good thing for a woman to do. You know what I'm saying? If I meet a woman like that, physically I'm attracted to her, beautiful, blonde, look good in jeans and stuff like that. And naturally I'm like, I want to get close to this person and stuff. But when they start showing that they're superficial, and men do it too, they're just,
yes, they do.
It's like, it's a big turnoff. Now I know guys that no matter what, they're going to go for it. But these guys that they don't have nothing to offer. They're shallow. They have no dreams. They have no vision. They have no drive. And these are the kind of guys. These are the kind of guys these girls are into. You know what I'm saying? They look good. They have their cats. They're
gonna have some pretty kids, but they're not gonna have a.
But there's no depth. There's no future. And like I said, I think they rob themselves. Because if they want that quality man, and they always do. They want that quality man. I watch a lot of videos here lately. They're looking for 6 figures, $250,000.
They're so specific. They're like, you have to do this. You have to be this tall. You have to have this amount in your bank account as of right now. You have to make this much. You have to drive this. You have to have this house.
Handsome. I got 2 out of 3.
Why are you listing all this stuff? But if I say my biggest problem is with this, is like females in the feminist movement. They choose to say, oh well, this is equality. But if I say no, you have to have a big ass, you have to have nice boobs, you have to have a pretty face, you have to be natural, or you have to have a lift, or you have to have all like then I'm looked at as toxic masculinity because I prefer something like that. But they do the same thing. I hate that so much. It's because
No, it's just it used to be just men. Men were very shallow. You know what I'm saying? But now women are just as shallow as men. You know what I'm saying? It's equal. It's
Yeah, it
equal
really
there.
is.
And but like I said, I think they rob themselves when they do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some real good guys. They're not all that, and with the looks, but they're real good guys. But you know, I told somebody a couple of weeks back, I was in Phoenix, a good friend of mine, got together, and I taught her something years back, and she remembers. She goes, I remember you telling me you can always fix up ugly, but you can't fix up character.
That's true.
Because if they're overweight,
that's actually really
If
true.
you're overweight, hey, you get in the gym, you can work out. If you got the big old thick glasses, you know what? You can get contacts. They don't know how to dress up. You can dress them up. You know, they have their hair right. You can go in there and pick their hairstyle. You can always fix up ugly, but you can't fix character. You know what I'm saying?
That is actually a really good saying. I like that a lot. I really do. And that's one thing that I've never understood is like women tend to want so much from a man. Like for instance, my biggest problem is women want these traditional men, right? But they're out here doing exactly what you were saying. You know, there's these good guys that will talk to them, that will treat them like queens, bro. Like treat them like royalty. Do anything and everything to make them happy, and because they don't look good. That's the problem. Like that, just because they don't match a specific, just one little thing. Oh, you're not 5'11", or you're not. Well, they usually go 6 foot. You're 5'11", so you're not 6 foot. You can't date me. Like, why is that
Why am I
a specified thing? Just, like I could treat you like the greatest person in the world. I could make you feel so secure in your life, in every single way. But just because of my height, something that I can't even control. You can't control that. Just like you can't control as a woman that feature. I mean, and I get it. Guys do the same thing, and that's a problem. Like we're looking too much far into sexualizing people in some sort of way, because that's what it really is. We're sexualizing, and it creates a problem.
And I ain't got a problem with girls. You know, they have standards. They have their likes and dislikes. But it's just the way sometimes they present it, as if you're not at the standard, then you're beneath me. No.
And that's the thing about standards. Like it's good to have those, but
they're ridiculous sometimes.
It's not good to have such high standards that you create this false identity of you being better than people.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Hit it on the nail with that.
Yeah, and that's not, and like I said, and it's not just women. Men do that, but it's getting to the point where women are just as bad as men. But you know, okay, I got certain things I look for in a woman, but if they don't have those things, I don't like, well, I'm better than you are. No, I just, okay, I'm not going to pursue a relationship, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't like, I don't talk to the hand type attitude. I'm like, no, it's not right.
That is rude.
And that's what's bad about it. It's not so much, hey, they're not into you physically, therefore they want to move forward. It's how they act toward the individual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I've gone to places and talk to somebody, and they politely is like, no, you know, I'm not sure. Okay, great.
That's actually a great thing.
Yeah, you know
that's lovely.
But there's some who's like, you know, didn't even want to acknowledge that I was trying to talk to them. Like, okay, well, I said hello.
The ones that I hate, or I wouldn't say hate, but I dislike more than that, is the ones that will be like, oh, I'll be so sweet to you, and I'll be nice and play along, and then I'll just get you away from me. Like, if you don't like someone, say it. And if, honestly, what I don't understand is, like, I get a concept of, like, women will use the reasoning as, oh, well, I just didn't want to be mean, or, you know, I just felt uncomfortable, so I didn't want to make him, like, feel threatening, so I wanted to get away. I get that in a sense, but if you tell a man no, like, straight off the bat, hey, no, I'm sorry, you're cute or whatever, but, you know, I can't do this. Or, you know, be real with each other. Yeah. Men needs to do it too, because men tend to lie to get their way, and women can't accept the truth. So it's like, it's such a conflict. And so if women would just be like understanding and be like, okay, yes, I get it. This is what it is, but I don't like this. Perfect. If you tell me that right there, I'm going to acknowledge that right away. And I'm going to make a note mentally. Or I might write it down because I forget stuff.
Yeah, I took, because in the last operation I worked at, I was in charge of, I had a bunch of girls there, a bunch of young ladies. They'd always ask me this, and it's like, how come guys just don't take the hint? It's like, well, because guys don't get hints. You know
We
what I'm saying?
don't.
I don't. I think over my head, you have to be real. It's like, yeah, like they asked me, you
Or
know.
that you should have known
Yeah.
thing. Like,
Exactly, yeah, yeah. They're like, well, they asked me
How?
out, and they asked me to dance, and then I tell them, well, I have a boyfriend. I said, because you're not rejecting them when you tell them you have a boyfriend. You're just letting them know that you're in a relationship. You're not saying, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to give you my number. That's clear cut. All you're saying is, hey, I have a boyfriend, but you're not telling me you're not interested.
especially in this day and age, women are so used to not being in the standard relationship of man and woman. That's it. They think, hey, especially this generation of mine and the generation below it more so, they think that having a side piece to someone else to go sleep with and hang out with, like that second husband type of that work husband, that concept just brewed and it's normalized now. And so that answer right there, telling a girl telling a guy, no, I have a boyfriend. Guess what the guy's gonna do? Most likely they're gonna be like, well, I can be the side piece. I can be the the work.
I think they have to clarify, hey, I'm not interested. And there's nothing wrong not being interested, but they just want
You're gonna hurt their feelings
Yeah.
regardless if you don't like them like they like you. But to create a false identity is problematic in the least.
Yeah. And it's getting bigger and bigger. That's why, like I said, man, I think for a guy like me, cause I'm very conservative, you know that. A guy like me, just man, the pool for me to choose from is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not into women like that.
Yeah.
It just drives me crazy.
My biggest thing is like whenever it comes to attraction of a woman is mentally being stimulated. If a woman can mentally stimulate me on so many levels, because I love information. I have the most randomest, non-useful information that
Yes,
ever.
you do. I've talked to you.
It makes no sense how I remember shit. I'm like, how do I even remember that? But I have the most useless information unless it comes to a specific situation. Like, I like information, even if it's useless. I retain it, and I like to learn. So if someone is able to mentally stimulate me right there from the beginning and continue that, we're in there. I'm gonna be honest. But then we'll go back to this idea of traditional men that I want to talk about. Women want traditional men, and they want to be non-traditional. That's one thing that bothers me too. Is like the same goes for men too. So men want these girls on Instagram models and stuff, and then they want to turn them into traditional women. Like, you can't do that.
No.
And I hate to say the same because it's I don't know how YouTube's gonna like it or not, but you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You really can't. You can turn a girl into a wife and a woman into a wife, but you can't turn a hoe into one. It's just not really feasible, because that person's gonna have those hoe tendencies.
True.
And whenever we go back to the idea of women wanting a traditional man but don't want to act traditional as women, like, that's not fair. That's not correct. So you want to tell me my biggest problem was always this. They want to tell me that it's okay for them to go out and party and get in a skinny little dress, and we know who they're doing that for. They're doing it for attention from other people. Whether it be females or other males. Either way, they're still wanting attention outside of our relationship. Which is fine for their friends, but not for sexual stuff. Anyways, you tell me that you can go out and you can have fun, but whenever I go out, I always got oh, you're talking to these hoes. Oh, you're doing that. And that insecurity comes out. And I'm just like, first of all, I give you the respect to go out, and I don't trust half the men because I know how men are, especially at clubs. Oh shoot, them dudes at clubs definitely are going to. They're gonna holler at you. They're gonna try. They're gonna be buying you drinks. They're gonna be getting you drunk if they can. They're gonna be trying to get your number, your Snapchat, and eventually, they may get it. But if I do anything close to that, it's a problem. So that's why I think, like, if you're gonna be in a relationship, you have to understand that you're common ground. And for me, if you want a traditional man, you should be a traditional woman.
It's true, you know, and there's a lot, and not all girls are like that. A big percentage of girls are not like that because I watch a lot of videos.
And I am talking about probably like 30%.
Yeah, because I watch a lot of videos, and there's a lot of girls out there, and they put videos that are very attractive, real sweet, real nice, kind of woman I would love to get involved with. You know what I'm saying? And they're out there and they're saying, why don't men approach us? Why don't they, you know? Why don't you know? They're putting out there that they're interested in a relationship. Then you get the percentage of the women you talk to, they're just out
they hang out with each other.
Yeah, you know,
and so it's like hard to tell which one's what. You're like, no.
My crazy best friend, she's like that. Your crazy best friend is chasing good men away. Because I'm automatically thinking, if she's like that, then she's
you are
like
the
that
company
too.
you keep.
Yeah,
and that's the way we see it. And if you, I mean, even if it's your one night out, we're gonna see it that way. So you're gonna have to like either find new friends or, I mean, what's wrong with a woman approaching you saying, "Hey, how are you?" I mean, it's not a big deal. It's really not. I mean, I know that you're more traditional in the sense of like, oh well, the man should buy, the man.
Yeah,
the man should be making the moves. The man like should that. But I think women want to be equal. Let them be equal. Come to me. Come talk to me. I don't have a problem
like
with
women
it.
in a big old crowd. They're all sitting together. No, I would not approach a table.
Heck no, because you know.
And I've seen like one or two there, and I see them kind of quiet. But I'm like, no, that's just danger zone. But I'll stay away from them. You know what I'm saying? So I know what you mean. It's just it's like. You want to be a presentable package, and men out there will get the package and marry the package. You know what I'm saying? They will. But
how far that's going to get you? That's on y'all's two's communication.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think all women are like that, but a big chunk of them. But if you really want to get in a relationship, you know what I'm saying? There's a difference.
But see, that
we're
one
talking about
little,
dating and a relationship. You want to date, do what you got to do.
That one little part, and that's why I want to bring it up, is that one little part has desensitized men from wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I seen a video the other day of this girl. She was doing squats at the gym, and she was doing a squat and she got stuck. And she's looking around saying, help, help, help. And there's a guy that walks by and he just keeps going. And everybody's getting mad at them, like, oh, that guy should have came over there to help. But we're worried what we're worried about being at a gym is I've seen videos of, you know, guys just glancing in a girl's direction and on video and everything, just glancing and just, you know, and then keep going. I mean, you're gonna look. It's gonna happen. Just like women look at men. It's gonna happen, and they make it a big deal. They make it like, oh well, this person out here just staring and eye gawking and all this stuff, and they're just sexualizing you. And so like when situations happen where they're like, oh well, I don't need a man. I don't need these men doing this to me. But then when you get in that situation, that girl was in that situation before. That was in the squat. She made a big deal about it, and then he had another video where she's locked in a squat and she couldn't get out, and she's wanting men to help her, and I'm like, you can't expect them to do the same thing both ways, because if you're in a problem and you want a man to help and look your direction to help, but yet you create an environment where they don't want to look at you, they don't want to be involved because they don't know what's going to happen. They're not gonna do it. They're just not. You're gonna be screwed because you put yourself in that situation. And that 30% of women that I was speaking about, it's probably less than that even. They create that environment just like feminists. They desensitize men from being gentlemen because they're so scared to really be that old-fashioned love, because they don't think that women are gonna actually do it, because they see all this world being one way through social media.
I was traveling a couple of years back, and I used to like going to restaurants, bar, and I like sitting at the top when I enjoy my dinner.
Right.
And I got to this place and it was packed, and I hated it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have to leave. And I saw one chair open, and it was next to a gorgeous girl. And it was and I was like, why didn't anybody take this seat? So I went and sat down, and I got, ordered my son. And I was, how's the food here? And she started talking to me. She's like the sweetest girl ever. It's a great personality. She's gorgeous, and she just talked. And she's like, nobody comes talk to me. And I was like, what? I was like, I know what the problem is. I said, you're a gorgeous woman.
That is intimidating.
Yeah, it can be sometimes intimidating because they're automatically going to think that you're going to turn them down, or this girl must be married. You know what I'm saying? Because girls sometimes can be very snobby. But no, she was great. She was single. Hey, I got a phone number. but the fact that she was so gorgeous, so like just like wow. Nobody wanted to approach her. They automatically thought she's gonna turn me down.
That does make it hard.
It does.
I don't know how it works on women, but
I'm like, I don't care. I just want to go eat. There's a chair right there, you know. So I opened the door and made it look like I was super confident, but I was nervous too, you know.
You're just like I need to eat. If it's like me, I'm a fat boy when it comes to food. I'm like I need to eat. That's just a bonus.
It was great because I really didn't care, so that's what helped it out. You know what I'm saying? But I really paid attention to her. She was like, nobody wants. I go. She goes, I never get approached. I rarely get approached, and I'm looking for a relationship. And I was like, really? But men are intimidated. Number one, and number two, a woman that's hot as she was, sometimes they just have this character and they carry them away in such a way that the guy's like, I'm not even gonna waste my time. I don't want you rejected.
What is it?
And nobody likes getting rejected.
What is it? What would you consider? What would qualify in that character action that you would think people would, like men wouldn't approach because of, like specifically?
Why a man wouldn't approach a woman?
In that scenario that you're saying she's so beautiful, why do you think that men, like, they're scared to approach her because they think that character might exist? What character would that be?
The snobby, I'm too good for you type character. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm not going to talk to you. Don't buy me a drink. You know, they just already, I think, foresee that, no, she's going to have that type of character, so don't let me approach her. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
I see a woman like that, and I look for little hints. If not married, they're by themselves, they're just looking around. She could tell, okay, this person's interested in talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to approach him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Putting
herself out in that world, but nobody's.
Yes. Body language.
That's when women should start approaching men. Let's solve that problem.
Body language will tell you everything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty confident in who I am. I really don't care. So I'm like, I'll go talk to it. And you know what? It's worked great for me. You know what I'm saying? So long term wise, didn't work out, but
it was an experience.
It was an experience. I loved it. It built me up. I've learned, okay, hey, a lot of women are approachable. A lot of women are interested in moving forward and doing great things, You just got those few that just ruin it for a lot of women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and some guys, they'll treat a women so badly that it wounds that woman so long that it's hard to get them to come back from that.
Yeah, they're defensive, and you can see that a lot too.
You can tell when someone's been through some trauma, like the toxic relationships we were talking about. Like someone's been through some trauma, and it's just hard for them to open back up.
Yeah, because right off the bat, I've met some women that we start carrying this conversation, and right away it's like nobody's ever gonna meet again. I ain't gonna be nobody's fool, and just like attack mode really. Like,
already have the defensive.
Yeah, I already have the defensive, and I'm just like, I just said hi. How you doing? Are you alone?
I was just letting you know your shoes are nice, but you know what? I'm sorry I bothered.
And the thing is, who they are is you can tell. Like, hey man, this is like a potential wife, potential somebody in your life, but you can tell right off the bat they just have so much. They're carrying so much that a man like me, I'm just not interested in.
It's all about the red flags. You have to be patient.
There's no peace here. I'll get in a relationship because I want peace. I want companionship. I want to have a good time. I want to be able to enjoy the rest of my life. I'm older. You know what I'm saying?
No man wants to go.
But when I meet somebody and they just have that, my ex this and my ex that, and right off the bat it's like, I don't want to deal with this. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? It turns me off, and I will, one way or another, get away from it.
And that's a big thing, I think, the home thing. Coming home to peace is every man's want and need. And women don't realize this, but men tend to need a recuperation time. So when we come home from work, dealing with whatever we're dealing with, we have to readjust to our environment. We have to basically clock out and clock back into this new environment because we don't like move everything the way women does in their mind, and it's hard for us. So if we come home from a hard day at work and we know that we're gonna have to go home to a hard day at home, most men, I've done it, we don't want to go home. We'll stay at work. I've done it before where I just, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here for a little bit. Y'all need help. I won't even be clocked in. I've done it before where I was like, I'm kind of running from it, and that's not good for a man to feel that way.
It's true, and I'll share something with you. Like I said, I was married. I was married 13 years, and my wife was just wonderful. I mean, 10. My biggest regret is getting divorced. I can't say nothing negative about her, you know, but we had that marriage and that adjustment time. And I remember at that time I was working like freaking labor hard out in the sun. And I would get home and she was young and I was young. And she right away said, we got this bill and we got to do this. And so called. And man, she's just like, oh. And we
right
would
away
we would get into an argument. And one day I remember telling her, you know what, let me get home. Let me take a shower. Bring me my lemon tea. I love lemon tea. You know, let me eat. And then once I get all that done, I'm good. Then, you know, that's right. I'm ready to talk and we're ready to talk. And
that's
it was
good
a good thing.
communication.
She actually respected it. I come home, she had my tea, my clothes was ready. I took a shower, she had my dinner, I ate. We talked, you know, just started.
It makes you feel so good as a man.
And I just and then she would tell me, okay, I want to talk about this. It's like, okay, well, what's going on? And man, it worked out great.
And
it
you have
good.
a positive reaction to it too, because you come home to that's fucking awesome.
And she learned that she got a lot more yeses out of me that way than the other way. You know what I mean?
But again, it comes down to communication and understanding each other. If you can't understand each other and you can't communicate that understanding, I mean, it's just not going to work. But that just is what it is.
And it worked as far as we practiced that the whole time we were married. And like I said, it didn't work out, but it had nothing to do with her. It had to do with my thing. I'm not going to share the story. But as far as like those things that we had, like I said, just communication and just meet me halfway worked out great, and it was real good for us as far as that's concerned. You know what I'm saying? So it can be good. You know.
I completely understand.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. Man, this topic just keeps getting more and more. There's more opening. It's just growing.
So I'm going to encourage people to leave a comment if you have any questions or you have an opinion or like to expand on. Hey, great. I would welcome.
And we have no problem talking about just pulling your comment out and talking about that specific thing, even if we've got to do a little short commentary.
You know what I want to do? I don't know if you have a female friend, but I would love to invite somebody to come on, come on and give us her input.
Absolutely.
She might be thinking we're full of it. You guys don't know nothing. It's like, okay.
We need that. I mean, that's how we learn as men and as women. You know, you learn from each other's side. I mean, we have to communicate. Yeah, we have to learn because relationship dating is already hard enough without that.
You know, like I said, with my wife. My wife wasn't being mean or ugly. She was just feeling insecure about some things and looking for security. You know what I'm saying? That's all it was. And I had to oblige to that. So it wasn't a negative thing on her part. She wasn't being difficult or mean. She was needing secure. She wanted to be secure, and it was my job to give it to her. Yeah. So it worked out great. So yeah, I would love to bring on somebody and let's talk about this.
We're probably going to have to do that. I think our next episode may or may not involve that, but we'll probably end up involving that as a option, because either me or you got to find a female to come up here, because I don't talk to women. I've been staying out this world for a reason. So, but
I got some females friends. We could do that. But that's all I got for tonight.
That's all I have for tonight.
In the name of Jesus, God bless you, love you, hope you enjoyed the show.
And thank y'all for watching.